Have you ever wondered what language the ancient Egyptians spoke? Many have also asked how that language might have sounded. In modern times, countless theories have emerged, and scholars across the world have devoted years to studying the language of ancient Egypt, its structure, its sounds, and its origins. Yet despite these efforts, no universal consensus has been reached. To this day, the discussion remains largely speculative. But what if this mystery is not a mystery at all? What if the answer has been lying in plain sight all along, overlooked, not because it is hidden, but because it has been ignored? Ignorance, coupled with arrogance, has often deprived humanity of a deeper understanding of the world's true history. The language of ancient Egypt was never lost. It was simply dismissed. What if I told you that the language of the ancient Egyptians is still spoken today, by people living on the very same continent from which ancient Egypt emerged? Across the vast plains, valleys, and mountainous regions of the African continent, one can still hear echoes of this ancient tongue. It survives through the many Bantu languages spoken by millions of Bantu people across Africa today. Among these languages are the Nguni languages, spoken by communities who themselves point their ancient origins to the Nile Valley, to the very lands where kings and queens once ruled Egypt as pharaohs. To understand this continuity, let us examine specific words and names preserved through time. Consider Lake Manzala in Egypt. This name is not random, nor is it foreign to African linguistic traditions. The word Manzala closely aligns with the Nguni word Madala, used among Zulu speakers in southern Africa, meaning the Ancient One or the Elder. This term connects directly to the consonantal root Msar or Mzr, the ancient name of Egypt itself, widely known today as Misiri or Misri. This name is traditionally associated with the ancient progenitor of the people of the land, known as Mizraim. Within Nguni languages, the concept of origin and birth is expressed through the root, Zala, meaning to give birth. Thus, Uzala means to give birth, and Umzali refers to a parent, one who gives life. From this perspective, Manzala signifies not merely a place, but a concept, the ancient source, the place of birth, the origin of a people. Egypt, known as Misiri or Misri, therefore represents the place of origin or the place of birth of the nation descended from Mizraim. This understanding is further reinforced by Egypt's ancient association with the falcon or eagle, Shiri, a powerful symbol of kingship and identity. Manzala is not the only example. Let us now turn to the Nile River, the longest river in Africa and the lifeblood of ancient Egyptian civilization. Few people are aware that the name Nile also reflects Bantu linguistic roots, later altered through foreign pronunciation and domination. In many Bantu languages, particularly in Nguni, when rain has fallen and caused rivers to overflow, one says, Imvula inile, meaning the rain has poured and the water has overflowed its banks. This phrase describes flooding caused by rainfall. To those who understand ancient Egyptian history, this flooding was not a disaster. It was a blessing. The overflow of the Nile transformed dry, arid land into fertile soil, making agriculture possible and sustaining life. Because the people depended so deeply on the river, the rainfall and its effects were central to their survival. Thus, the river became known as Kwamvula Inile, the place where the rains have caused flooding. Over time, this was shortened to Kwanile. As invasions and migrations occurred, new populations, unable to pronounce the original term correctly, altered it. Nile became Nile, and eventually the westernized form entered global usage. These examples are only two among many words and names once used by the ancient Egyptians that remain alive and active in Bantu languages today. As this program continues, more of these linguistic parallels will be presented and examined in detail. For now, it is only fair to acknowledge this truth. Ancient Egypt was never lost. It was never silent. It was never erased. It has simply been ignored, often by the very people who claim to be searching for it. The voice of ancient Egypt still speaks, not from ruins and hieroglyphs alone, but through living languages carried by African people today. When we listen carefully, with humility and honesty, history answers us. The past does not need to be reconstructed. It needs to be remembered. And in remembering, we reclaim not only language, but identity, continuity, and truth.